Afternoon, everybody. We got a fun show for you today. A bunch of different things. We're going to mix things up a little bit. Tony Watson of the Pirates is going to be our special guest. He's going to talk about the bullpen, the way it's coming together, the way they have each other's backs, and whether or not he can be that guy who comes into the back-end situation and gets Mark Melancon some help. Because let's face it, right now, Mark Melancon's pitching so much, he's going to be making a trip to Alabama before long if that isn't rectified. We're also going to have Rob Rossi from the Trib. He's, of course, our Penguins beat writer. We're going to talk not only about the Penguins' injuries, the possible line combinations in the postseason, but also who is the team that you would want to see the Penguins face in the first round. I know my answer. You probably know my answer. Mine are based on travel preferences. Yours probably aren't. I'm guessing Rossi's might not be either, so we'll hear what he has to say. Later on, of course, we will have Suck Meter with an absolute classic. It's going a little bit outside the box. The Steelers are where we're going to start today. They open up the draft on Thursday night. First round, 17th overall. Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert say they're not going to move up. At least they don't think so. Probably not going to move down either. That tells me that they've got something and somebody in mind. Colbert's insistence is that positions don't matter, needs don't matter. They're going to get the best player. They have 6 to 8 guys that they view as elite guys, as immediate impact guys. They don't think they're going to get any of those, but then one of those guys last year was David DeCastro, and he did fall to them, and the Steelers really had not expected that DeCastro would be there. Everybody says that, but I think in this case it was actually true. The Steelers are a team with significant needs. We're now looking at a team that has taken 7 starters. Well, they've taken already 5. 2 more are coming when Casey Hampton and Max Starks officially go. That's 7 guys out of their starting 22 are out. What they have brought in since then is 3 backups. Bruce Gradkowski, backup quarterback, Matt Spaeth, tight end, William Gay as a nickelback. That's it. 7 starters out, 3 backups in. A couple of those spots are going to get replaced internally. I love the Ramon Foster retention. I think that was a great move. But ultimately, this team needs, and I'll underscore the word again, needs a jolt out of this draft. A lot of people didn't like it on Monday when Kevin Colbert said, we don't expect to have anybody come out of this draft and come in and make an impact and start right away. That's not what anybody wants to hear. Not after they watch Alfred Morris run for 1 billion yards in Washington and he's not even a draft pick. No one wants to hear that. They want to hear how somebody's going to come in here and ride the white horse and make things exciting again and compete with Baltimore and Cincinnati. No one wants to hear that it's going to take time. And I understand that. In fact, I'm right there with it, which is why the first-round pick of the Steelers, I think, should be Eddie Lacy from Alabama, and here's why. When you look across the spectrum of sports, you're always looking at the guy who touches the ball or the puck or whatever the most. You want the guy that's going to have the biggest impact on the game and on your team. In baseball, you want pitching. In hockey, you want a goaltender. In football, you want your quarterback and your running back to be solid. You want an area where you know that if somebody's touching the ball 25 to 30 times as a running back will, and is really the way the Steelers from Art Rooney 2 on down talk about, they want their running backs to be that busy, to be that involved. You have to go with that as a position of need. To me, if Lacy is there, and by all accounts, and Mel Kiper and all these other draft nicks, the way they describe him is a Steelers-type back. He is the guy who can run through the middle. He's built like Barry Foster. He can also catch passes on the outside, which obviously is unlike Barry Foster. He can make things happen in a lot of different ways. And to me, this is an intangible. It shouldn't really count. The truth is, if one of these 6 to 8 guys falls, even if it's a guard again, and he's that great of an impact player, you do have to look outside of the positional realm. But if those 6 to 8 guys are off the board, if the Steelers are just looking at the rest of the field, to me, this is an organization that needs, right now, a spark. They need somebody to come into Latrobe and kind of lift everybody up and get rid of this idea that they're rebuilding or retooling or, oh no, who did we lose? They need somebody to come into Latrobe and be the talk of the camp. They need somebody to come in and make an immediate impact, to have everybody talking. And again, I'm not talking about the fans. I'm not talking about appeasing the fans. You'll never hear me say that a team should make a move based on fans. This is about internally. This is about having Ben Roethlisberger, these wide receivers, this defense, fully invested in the idea that they can still contend, even going into next season. Where else can that impact come from on this roster other than running back? I don't want to hear about wide receiver. I like the idea of Tavon Austin. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a neat element that you can add, but he's another short receiver on a team that's kind of overloaded with those right now. It's interesting. It could be fun. He could be what Chris Rainey, Todd Haley, and everybody had hoped Chris Rainey would be. But he wouldn't be a running back. He wouldn't be that guy that would make the difference. I don't want to cite the Redskins again as if they're some sort of paragon here, but the Washington Redskins, they did get a jolt out of RG3. There's no question. But they also got a whale of a jolt out of Morris. That was their wild card. That was what kept people from ganging up on RG3. Morris kept defenses honest. If the Steelers had a legitimate rusher, a legitimate guy that you can count on for 3 to 4 yards a carry, even when the holes aren't there, that helps Ben. If you have a rusher that can break the occasional tackle, that can hit the hole, now you're taking advantage of this young and very promising offensive line that they have. I'm not saying they're perfect. I have big concerns about left tackle. But if you're investing a first-round draft pick in David DeCastro at guard, you invest a first-round draft pick in Marquise Pouncey, you invest a lot of money in Ramon Foster up the middle, and Foster is a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. Run the ball. There can't be any doubt right now that Mike Tomlin wants nothing to do with Isaac Redmond and Jonathan Dwyer. I don't know how much clearer he can make that without actually cutting them. He brought it up again yesterday. We're looking for a running back. We're looking for a running back. They could still go out and get Ahmad Bradshaw on his bad foot. That's not what I want. Ahmad Bradshaw isn't a jolt of anything. Running back, first-round pick. Eddie Lacy from Alabama is the clear choice in that category in the draft, and he's supposed to be available around the time when the Steelers pick. There's no need to trade up, no need to move down. You can't hold on to the second round because he will be gone by then. He's the guy that I take if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers.